Why making mobile chips is so hard. Why making mobile chips is so hard. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel Technology Talk. Today we're talking about why making mobile chips is so hard. Do you also wonder why? Here you have the answer. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell icon to never miss out on more videos we post. And here we begin. Surprisingly, it takes years and billions of dollars to develop semiconductor production facilities, but even then, the economics are so harsh that even if your manufacturing ability is a fraction behind the competition, you could lose out. This is why establishing semiconductor self-sufficiency is so challenging for governments. Chip production also necessitates massive facilities, dust-free environments, multi-million-dollar machinery, molten tin, and lasers. And the ultimate goal is to turn silicon wafers, an element extracted from ordinary sand, into a network of billions of tiny switches known as transistors, which will form the foundation of the circuitry that will eventually provide critical capabilities to a phone, computer, car, washing machine, or satellite. The majority of chips are made up of circuits that run the software, manipulate data, and regulate the functions of electronic devices. The configuration of the circuits determines their specialized functions. Here are the reasons why it takes so much time to get completed. First, even though it is small, it is complex. Chip makers are attempting to cram more transistors onto processors to improve performance and reduce power consumption. In 1971, Intel launched the 4004, a microprocessor with only 2,300 transistors and a node size of 10 microns or 10 millionths of a meter. However, Intel's undisputed dominance in the subsequent decades came to an end between 2015 and 2020 when rivals Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company and Samsung Electronics Corporation began producing chips with smaller transistors down to 5 nanometers or 5 billionths of a meter. Atomic level manufacturing is required. Chips can include up to 100 layers of materials, and these are deposited then withdrawn in parts to create complicated three-dimensional structures to connect all of the small transistors. Some of these layers are as thin as one atom, and to do this, machines from Applied Materials Incorporated, Lam Research Corporation, and Tokyo Electron Limited juggle various factors including temperature, pressure, and electrical and magnetic fields. Lithography, which machines built by ASML holding NV handle, is one of the most complex elements. Light is used to burn patterns into materials put on silicon using the company's equipment. Then transistors are made from these patterns. Because this is all taking place on such a small scale, the only way to make it work right now is to employ harsh ultraviolet light found only in space. ASML machines use a laser pulse to zap molten tin droplets into a controlled setting. To replicate this, the metal emits the needed EUV light as it evaporates. Even so, it's not enough. To focus the light into a shorter wavelength, mirrors are required. Cleaner than a surgery. A clean chamber is required before silicon can be placed in chip-making machines. A spotless room. A virus is several times the size of a single transistor. One grain of dust can wreak havoc and squander millions of dollars in the effort. To reduce the risk, chip makers keep their devices in chambers that are virtually dust-free. The air is regularly filtered to maintain that ambience, and just a few people are permitted in. It could be a hint that something is wrong if more than 1 or 2 personnel appear on a chip production line, all clad in protective gear from head to toe. The true brains behind semiconductor design and development are based thousands of miles abroad. Even with these safeguards, people are not permitted to touch or expose silicon wafers to the air. Instead, they are transported between machines and cartridges carried by robots that operate on ceiling-mounted tracks. When they're within the machines, it's time to our crucial phase in the process, and they emerge from the safety of those cartridges. Economics is a pain. Chip plants operate 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and they do it for one reason: to save money. It costs roughly $15 billion to build a facility that produces 50,000 wafers per month at the starting level. The majority of this money goes for specialized equipment, surpassing $60 billion in sales for the first time in 2020. Heavy duty. Since 2015, sales of chip fabrication equipment have more than doubled. The majority of this money is being put into 3 companies: Intel, Samsung, and TSMC. Their factories are more modern, and each one costs more than $20 billion. TSMC plans to invest up to $28 billion in new plants and equipment this year. And after spending all that money on massive facilities, they are outmoded in 5 years or less. Chip makers must make $3 billion in profit from each factory to avoid losing money. Industry of the big fish. In 2020, Intel, Samsung, and TSMC produced nearly as much income as the next 12 top chip makers put together. The more you practice, the better you will get. The essential metric is the yield of the percentage of the chips that aren't thrown away. It's a concern if the percentage is less than 90%, and on the other hand, chip makers can only surpass that level by repeatedly learning costly lessons and expanding on them. So that's why making mobile chips is so hard. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Until the next video, stay tuned and subscribe for more.